Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? Good. It's so awesome to be here, and it's so awesome to see, even my former students. Peyton was one of my students, and Anita is currently, and just seeing them grow and show everything that they're doing. And I'm here today because I wanted to share a little bit about my own college journey and what that was like, and what I've learned. So when I was younger, as a child, I had this dream that I wanted to change the world, and I had this idea that in order to change the world, I had to do something big and spectacular. This is a picture of me when I was in high school. I was probably a junior, I think, back there, and I visited the United Nations for the first time. And I met amazing people that were changing the world and who were bringing about world peace. And in that moment, that's what I decided that I was going to do. That's how I was going to make my life meaningful. And after that, I just started planning out my life. I said, I'm going to go to Moorpark, then I'm going to transfer to UCLA and study peace communications. I'm going to get an internship at CNN, the UN, and so on and so forth. And little did I know that planning everything out in that way would actually do me more harm than good. Long story short, when I got to UCLA, I realized that I wasn't very good at debate, and I started to feel like, how could a small person like me, make such a big difference? And slowly my entire life plan and life meaning just fell apart. And to just break it down, I fell into a deep anxiety and developed, depression. And in order to gain control into my life, I also developed an eating disorder. This was me during that time. This was my first year at UCLA. I had lost 20 pounds, which were 20 pounds I didn't need to lose. And I was going in and out of the hospital so many times because I was fainting that I didn't know if I would survive if I stayed in school. And during this time, there were certain things that I did that helped and certain things that I did that didn't quite work out so well. One of the things I did is, when I opened up to my family, they really tried to reason with me, to tell me that, this is just a phase, you're going to get through this. I started believing certain lies, like that it didn't matter that I existed or that the world is not a good place. But they kept reasoning with me, and I met with counselors that helped me try to move out of those negative thought patterns. And I even started trying to write in a journal. So I would write all these good thoughts that I wanted to believe over and over and over again, kind of like the way they make you do in elementary school when you do something bad. Just keep writing them over and over again, hoping that I would start believing them. But nothing really stuck. And so as a communication studies major, something that I understood is that the way that we receive messages have an impact on our brain. And so I decided to take it to the next level. And I started to do research about the brain, and what I found really surprised me. This is a picture of the brain, and you'll see there's the left side and the right side. And what I found is that the left side of the brain, it's the part that is linear, it controls our reasoning, it's also the part that's very calculating. And the right side of the brain, it's the creative side. It's the part that has emotion, that works with images. And the most interesting thing that I found was it's also the part that deals with our subconscious thought patterns. And this could be good thought patterns or negative thought patterns. And so my understanding became that if I wanted to change the way I was thinking, I had to stop trying to reason with myself, and I had to start tapping into my emotions. And one way I started doing this is through images, and it's something that's called visual healing. Visual healing is something that Louis Schwartzberg, he's a filmmaker that graduated from UCLA, came up with. He said that if he shows people films of nature and helps them get in touch with themselves and appreciate the little things in life they can heal. And some of his work has been shown at the Vatican. This is one of them. And these are live films. And these are actually also images that are shown in mental health centers around the nation that are shown in waiting rooms to help people feel calm. And one thing that he mentioned is that we have all these different types of therapies that deal with different types of senses. We have audio therapy, which is healing through the spoken word. We have massage, which is healing through touch. We have aromatherapy, which is healing through our sense of smell. But 80% of the information we receive comes through our eyes. So why aren't we doing more with images? There are three things in order for something to be visual healing. There are three things that you would need in order for that to be considered visual healing. The first thing is there needs to be an image. And the reason for that is because images touch us more strongly than words alone. And you've probably seen this when you watch a movie or when you've looked at old pictures. And another interesting thing about images is they persist in our long-term memory. A study by the Journal of Education shows that after 3 days, we remember about 10 to 15% of what we read or what we hear, but we remember 65% of what we see. So if you want to help yourself have long-term healing, you're going to want to start using images. The second is a positive message. So what is that? It could be implicit or explicit. So for a moment, I just want you to take a second and think of someone that believes in you and try to just picture that person in your mind. Okay, do you see that person? Yes? Okay, good. So an implicit positive message would be like putting that person, a picture of that person on your desk. So this is like, this is a grandma. It's not my grandma, but you know, I have two grandmas, so I didn't want to, like, you know, because they both believe in me. So I just, you know, this could be your grandma if you don't, if you need a grandma. But so that's an implicit message that you could have. You could also have an explicit message, which is having a picture with the words written underneath very explicitly. So this could be a picture of a mountain that says, climb that mountain. That could be the same thing. I believe in you. You're capable. The third thing that you would need is something specific. So if we have a specific negative thought pattern, we're going to want to have a specific positive thought pattern to replace it. So a lot of that is getting in tune with yourself and figuring out what are those thoughts that you're believing that are bringing you down so that you can replace them. So an example could be thinking like, it doesn't matter that I exist, and replacing it with that specific other message. Well, it matters that I exist, as opposed to, you're great, you know, that's very vague. And then having an image that you really connect with that symbolizes that. Now, there are many different types of visual healing that you can incorporate into your life, and I just want to give you a couple examples. This could be for your own visual healing that you want to do for yourself, or it could be for others. The first one is you can create a visual healing journal. So this is something I started and that really helped me. You just find a blank journal and start putting pictures with positive affirmations that you would like to incorporate into your life. And research shows that the last 15 minutes of what we do each day works with our subconscious thoughts when we sleep. So this could be kind of like a ritual that you do each night. And these are just some examples. Another idea is to turn the back of your car into a positive affirmations place where you can put a graphic and a quote that inspires you. This is something that I've started doing about a year ago, and I've just been very surprised at how many people like give me little honks and thumbs up when I'm driving. Or what happened, the other day I saw a girl, like I was sitting at a stoplight and I saw somebody behind me, she gasped and she like pulled out her phone and she took a picture of it. I have a friend who's actually here today, and I didn't meet him at the time, but he was coming from another state and he saw my car, and then when we met a year later, he remembered it and was like, man, Californians are pretty cool. And this is a note that somebody left on my car, just saying that they appreciate it. And so what I learned from that is that people really are hungry for a kind word and to hear some truth in their life, because we're surrounded by all these negative things. So just putting that out in the world. This doesn't always work when you cut people off, because I can be kind of an aggressive driver sometimes, but like that's okay. And the last thing is, visual healing doesn't always have to be something like just an image. It can also be a physical object. And this is a project that I started with a friend. It was actually the same friend that I mentioned came from another state. And we made little 3D objects on a 3D printer and attached it with an inspirational quote. And we hid them around town, and although we will never know who found them or what impact they made, I'm confident that whoever found it now has something physical to hold on to and more deeply understand an important message about love. And so now I have a little surprise for everyone. I'm not Oprah, so don't look under your seats. It's nothing like that. But I wanted to share a little bit of visual healing with you, and so we'll have volunteers come around. And this is just something that you can incorporate in your life. It could be like a little appetizer if you want to continue this. And as they're passing out, I just want to share what I learned from all of this. So I learned two things. I learned that in order to make a difference in the world, you don't have to do anything spectacular or big. It doesn't even have to be something that other people notice. It could be just for finding your own inner peace. We think that, when I start working in the real world, or when I find my major, that's when my life will be meaningful. But you don't even have to know your major. You can start right here, right now, with what you have in order to make your life meaningful. And so this is my challenge to everyone here. What's one thing in your life you can do to kind of find your inner peace or help somebody find that for themselves? Whether it's starting a healing journal or maybe leaving a note for someone randomly with a picture on it. What's just one thing you can do to encourage yourself or others and make your life truly meaningful? Thank you.